Hey, I'm Chris, and this is another of Walk with Walt. And I was gonna do something different, but I came out here to the train park that we have here in my small city I live in, and I decided why not do it on Walt Disney's Love of Trains. And basically, Walt grew up somewhat in Marceline, Missouri. While he laid in bed, he heard the trains go by. And trains were a part of his life. His father, while living there, was a mechanic who worked on the trains. And his uncle, Mike Martin, was an engineer. And some people don't know this, but Walt actually worked for the trains as well, as he would sell newspapers and magazines and cigarettes to passengers getting on and getting off the trains. But really this really stayed with Walt. It was something that he really loved. And of course, being that at that time trains were how you got across the country. Of course, it was at that time in Kansas City where Walt took a train out to Los Angeles when he started the Disney company. So Walt had always had a love for trains, and as he was living there in Los Angeles, he met a few of the people, animators and people who worked there at the studio with him, that also had a love for trains, but they were also into that kind of stuff and was able to make parts and woodworking and stuff like that. And Walt came across this property that wasn't too far from where he lived, decided he wanted to buy it, and he was going to put his own train in what was called Carroll Woods. And so he called his train the Carrollwood Pacific, and he put a small train in that you could ride on top of. And he realized he needed more than one train, but the train he actually put in, he actually machined the parts for. He did the woodworking with the help of the people who worked there at the Disney company with him. But he realized he needed more than one train, and he found a train that would work, and it was over in Europe. So he flew to Europe to buy this train. Now when he got over there, he met a man who was also there interested in the train, but this man was 6 hours late because Walt had already bought the train. And the man and Walt got to talking, and Walt brought up his whole idea for a theme park. And they got to talking for a while and everything. And this man, his name was Harper Golf, became the first Imagineer. So, as Disneyland was being built, what a lot of people don't know is the Disneyland trains weren't owned by Disneyland. They were actually privately owned by Walt himself. And a lot of people, I don't think, knew that. Now, the trains that run at the Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World, if it wouldn't have been for the Walt Disney World or Walt Disney, these probably would have just seen a scrapyard. They found these trains. They were carrying sugarcane and hemp to the Yucatan Peninsula. And they found those, and they brought them back, and they redone them. And they are now the ones that actually run at the Magic Kingdom at Disney World. And they do have a tour there. I'm not really sure what the tour is called, but they have a tour of the trains and stuff like that. And I really think, had it not been for his interest in trains, there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't happen. I don't think the amusement parks would have happened, or the theme parks, audio animatronics. I don't think Walt's whole interest in technology would have been there had it not been for his love for trains. So really, we're watching trains kind of disappear. I mean, the only thing we use them for is cargo. You hardly see them as passenger trains. There are some around, but you hardly see it. But I know they always say it all started with a mouse, but it also started with Walt's love of trains. And that's probably going to end this walk. So I hope you enjoy this series. I enjoy making it. Gets me out, gets me walking around. And I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next Walk with Walt.